Welcome back, Sunday Society, for another episode on season 5 of Battle of the Karens.
Woo!
Yeah,
We're fighting.
super excited. If you haven't been with us and you're just starting out, what we do is we bring 2 stories each and we battle, and then you guys vote and we see who, bracket style, who is going to be the biggest Karen at the end of our season. So,
Yes.
super excited.
It's been a wild journey.
It really has.
Some crazy stories already.
Yeah.
And who was I talking to? And they were like, I have a story. I'm like, send it to me.
Please.
It's Autumn. She was going to type up a story.
Please.
I can't wait. It's going to be so good.
Before we get started, I thought we have some things that I wanted to talk to you about. So first thing is we are talking about Karens, but this is beyond a Karen, but I do have a story I want to share with you. So I was on TikTok and I saw this lady who was a Black lady who was talking about her experience at a free Frey concert, which did we not see a free Frey concert?
Yeah, I think we did. Well, is that Power and Light?
Yes.
Yeah.
But this wasn't in our area.
Okay.
Okay. And it was, I want to say it was like, I don't know, like Wisconsin or something.
Okay.
Somewhere up north.
Okay.
And this lady and this Black lady is telling the story. And this white lady, she's videoing her. She's standing there videoing. She looks really smug. She keeps kind of looking over towards the lady that's recording her. The Black lady is. The white lady is the one that the Black lady is recording this lady. So you see the white lady like standing there.
Recording the concert?
It looks like it, but she's also like kind of smugly looking over towards the Black lady and her phone.
Okay.
So anyway, she's like, this lady got up in my space. My like mother, grandmother were there, like my kids were there, like there was a family thing going on, and she said she called her the N-word. Anyway,
my God.
They got security. This white lady got mouthy with security, and security ended up making her leave. So I go looking at the comments, and sure enough, they're like, this is this lady's TikTok. And I go, and she like has no videos really, but this video of her sitting there saying, it's not on camera. You can't come after me because you have no proof. Never once does she say that I never called her the N-word. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this, okay? So my whole thought about this, she is a Karen. You can tell she's a Karen.
Yeah.
Look her up. I think it's Laura260 or something on TikTok.
Gosh.
And then you can also look up the Black lady that originally had the story. That's the one I watched. Okay, I don't remember her name, but she was very, like, she was just explaining her experience with this racist lady. I also know for a fact that recently in our close community, there have been somebody that I know who is in the community that is racist, and I literally had a conversation with Corbin about, you know what? I just wish that racists would just be honest about who they are and like put it out there. I'm a racist. Just like, I don't know, put a flag outside your house so we know that you're racist. Like, don't be a racist and then be hidden about it. And this is what this lady felt like. And I guess that's where I'm coming from. It really irritated me. It really irked me. Like, if you're going to be a horrible human being and judge other people or treat people poorly or call them slurs because of the color of their skin, just be about it. Like, be who you are and say that that's what you are. Don't try to do that and then pretend that you're not a racist.
Yeah.
It really, really irritated me. Yeah. I'm fired up about it.
Help me narrow down my friends list, please. Help me narrow down the people that I want to associate myself with. And I think we know from like all the true crime that we watch, it's like if you cannot plead like insanity if you knew the difference between right and wrong. And usually the difference, like a way to show that is if you try to hide it. When these people are hiding who they are, it's because they know it's wrong.
It's like the neo-Nazi people that came through Kansas City and all their faces were covered. Why are you hiding?
Why hide?
Why
hide?
Pull your mask off. Show who you are. Like,
pull up, son. Let me know who you are.
Yes. So anyway, Karen, kind of a Karen story, but I didn't want to she doesn't get that much from me. She doesn't get to be a whole story.
No,
but
she's
also probably missing a few like screws in there, because if you listen to her talk, you're going to be like, well, she probably like inbred or something. That's the vibe I got, is inbred. Yeah. Laura, it might even be Laura S260, something like that. You'll find her. It's on TikTok. She is probably inbred.
She is the problem.
But yeah, I was just like, if somebody said that I called them the N-word and it was not true, let me just tell you, I am going to plead my case and be like, I would never call somebody that.
That'd be the first thing out of your mouth.
Use that word. That word would never come out of my. She never once.
Yeah.
She made 2 videos. Never once did she say, I did not call her the N-word. Well, she just kept saying she doesn't have proof.
Her mama must have told her not to lie. There's an expression. It's like deny what you can't something and something what you can't deny. I'll have to Google it. If you guys know what it is, let me know. If you know, do you know the expression I'm talking about?
I know, but I don't know the right
I can't figure out the word. But yeah, anyway.
If you are, number one, if you're a racist, you can unfollow us. Number 2.
Yeah, there's no space for you.
If you are a Christian and a racist, you should you're not a Christian. Number 1, because that's not how that works. And number 3, if you're a racist, just be about it. Let's just say what you are so we know. Like, don't be hiding about it. Like, just,
why are you hiding?
Yeah.
It's the same reason.
You should hide because you should be ashamed of yourself. But
yeah, you should be cloaked in shame since you're cloaked in the white hats. So, and that was what I was going to say is they've been hiding their identities forever.
Yes.
It's always been like a secret society.
But why?
Because they know that it's wrong and there's just no justification for it. It's just it's infuriating and it's the world we live in.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't. We don't typically get, political, but this is not political. This is moral.
I'm going to actually screenshot a picture of this lady's face and post it on here so you guys can see how.
Listen,
she's hideous.
There's a profile or like a creator on TikTok. His name's like Tizzy.
Yes,
Int.
He will find you
and
he will let you know where you work.
He will pull a Destiny's Child and say my name, say my name. He will say your name.
Well, we didn't need him for this because she came on and made a post.
Don't they always be telling on themselves? They try to hide, but they be telling on themselves.
It really irked me. And I was like, this lady was just trying to watch the fray with her family.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that she might not have been wrong. There might have been a confrontation, but like, that's what you go to. You are a racist. If you have a confrontation with a person of color and that's the word that comes out of your mouth,
that's where you want to go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my spiel. What's up with you? I'm going to try to calm down, cool myself off because I'm a little irritated.
So I listen to the radio sometimes like around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and it's like 99.7 The Point, whatever.
It's definitely PM, not AM. She's not awake at that time.
Yeah, I am not awake at that time. There's never a reason in the world that I would be awake that early. My goodness. And they always ask like a controversial question or like a hot topic, whatever. And one of them, this is a funny question. It's what store would you know, like if you were blindfolded, if you were kidnapped and you were blindfolded, what store would you know by the smell that you would know exactly where you are based on the smell? You walk in, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm here.
I mean, the easiest one for me would probably be Bath and Body Works, but
oh yeah,
because it's like so many smells at once.
Yeah. Yep.
But back in the olden days, back in our younger days, in Lexington, it would be Velvet Pumpkin. The Velvet Pumpkin. I remember.
You triggered I can smell it. I know the smell that you're talking about.
I don't even know what it was, but I would know that smell anywhere.
I forgot that place was around, that it was a thing. I loved that place. Oh, that was nice. We used to have like our high school banquets there for like speech and theater.
Yeah, but she had some kind of, it wasn't patchouli, but it was like something like
sandalwood, or it was very earthy.
Yeah.
Yep. It might have
definitely gave like that, but it also had like a velvet undertone.
It really did.
It went with the name anyway.
It could have been the wood floors too, mixed with whatever she had. But yeah, I know exactly the smell that you're talking about.
What about
you? I would think like Home Depot.
Oh, yeah.
Or like Lowe's, like one of those places. Like you walk in and it smells like dirt and lumber. Yes. You're like, oh, I'm at a hardware store. I'm at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Gosh, there's probably another one. I mean, unfortunately, any dentist office, I know they have a smell. They all have like this very distinct smell.
It's like a cleaning.
It's something.
Like mouthwashy.
It's a trauma smell for me. Like I smell it and it makes me so anxious and just makes me want to vomit. I've just not had good luck with dentists in my life. But anyway, so those would probably be my two, like a Home Depot or the dentist.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think like Lexington, like a movie theater. I think Cannibal 6, you walk in, it just smells like popcorn. So that was all I had. to kind of start us off. I thought that was a fun one because it's like, oh yeah, if I got kidnapped and taken to Home Depot, I would know exactly where I was immediately.
I actually have a question for you. This one is, I think I found on TikTok, but it was like a question that somebody asked. Mm-hmm. So, and I would love to hear from you guys too, because I think it's fun. And I want you to take a minute to think about it.
Okay.
So if the world goes to crap and you get to pick the next currency, what are you choosing? And it doesn't have to be like...
Oh, like it doesn't have to be money. So like,
doesn't
how
have
are we
to be
paying
money.
with things?
It could be things. It could be a quality. It could be anything you want, but that would be the next currency. Some people do funny. Some people do like, I have a lot of this. I would be rich.
I already know. Anxiety.
Anxiety.
It's paying for me.
Yeah.
Because I think there was something, it's like, they talk about an invention that stress gets converted into energy, and it's like, I would be electric. Like my whole body would be glowing. But I mean, funny answer is anxiety. Like I would be on top of the world.
Yeah. Anxiety. That's a good one.
Yeah. Thank you.
I asked the boys about it. And I said hair, because my hair be falling out in the shower. I could just pick those off the shower wall and be like, okay, how many do you need? Yeah. I've got a lot, like my hair sheds a lot. Like I don't have thick hair. I have very fine hair, but I just be shedding hair all the time. So I feel like hair.
That is a good answer. What did they say? Probably not as funny. They're kind of dry.
I can't remember.
Sorry, boys.
I can't honestly remember, but I asked, and Bradley said my mom's money. And I was like,
dang.
That's the new currency.
Dang.
And then Corbin said basketball. I don't remember what the guy said, but I said, we like all together talked about how common sense, because some people have a lot of that and some people have zero.
What a great answer.
Common sense.
What a great answer.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I thought that was kind of a fun question.
Fun. That is fun.
And it made me think. I was in the car, sitting in my driveway doing my decompressing. And I was like, I wonder what currency I would choose. And then immediately I thought about hair, because it falls out and it's just so readily available to me. Yes.
Yeah.
And if we can use our pet's hair, I
was going to say, listen, dog hair, I would be in abundance for sure.
So, yeah, that's it.
I feel like there's more that I could answer. I'm going to be thinking about this for like a month. So do you want to just jump into our stories now? You ready to get going?
Absolutely.
Perfect. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and let's take back Sunday. All right, my first story. None of these have titles, so we'll have to come up with like fun little names for them at the end. I run a gastropub that does an event every 6 months. So I don't know what a gastropub. I've watched Kitchen Nightmares, and there's a gastropub on there. I don't know. I think it's just about the food that they serve. I think that it's like just specific food, but it looks like a bar.
Okay.
Kind of like a bar and grill type thing. Correct us if we're wrong. I don't care if I'm wrong. It's not a big deal. They run a gastropub that does an event every 6 months in which about a dozen local businesses in the downtown area, it's a small town, get together and have 2 or 3 wines for tasting. We sell about 400 tickets, and each ticket gets you a wine glass, food at most of the stops, wine samples, and a bottle of wine that you choose. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Everyone walks from one place to another, tasting wine and snacking. It's kind of like that trail that we went on in Excelsior. My place is the last stop on the event sheet. So, 400 people, 95% of them Karens, walking around downtown during the day.
And you're the last one where they've been drinking this entire time.
Yes, getting it smashed on wine. Yeah. It's a freaking crap show. And I am censoring that. That is not what they said. As the last stop, they file into the bar all at once. Woo! Yeah! We need drinks! They all at the same time start shouting drink orders of martinis, cocktails, beer, etc., as if the last 4 hours of wine sampling wasn't enough. It's sort of like the first 15 minutes of Saving Private Ryan. I've never seen that movie, but I assume that it's like chaos.
Yeah.
Women are holding their friends' purses while dragging them to the bathroom. Another Karen telling my bartender that she can't find her own shoes. Another woman wants to complain because she had to wait 7 minutes for her Cosmo. One Karen has gone outside to vomit on the sidewalk. Another is just crying, with 4 Karens administering the standard first aid of pats, hugs, awes, and cussing out people responsible. The bar is 3 Karens deep, all wanting the most complicated drinks on the menu, only to turn up their noses upon receiving their drinks because they didn't know that a Sazerac had bourbon in it. Another Karen wants me to give her a 4-semester education on Italian wine while her friend is Googling everything I say in hopes of catching me make a mistake. Karens love that crap. Duck faces are everywhere as a monsoon of selfies starts to occur. Phones being passed around, retakes, different angles, the horror. Entire parties of Karens, 8, 9, 10 strong, all wanting separate checks. God bless. This, as a bartender, gives me so much anxiety.
I was going to say, it gives me anxiety listening to it.
Complaint after complaint of Karens talking about how they are so close to being... This is going to offend so many people. So close to being a level 4 executive essential oils business owner, and they would like to have their monthly meetings at my bar. Whew. Don't forget about the inappropriate groping and whistling at my male bartenders, which is not okay.
No,
it is not okay. Women, you cannot grope and be aggressive towards men in the same way that men cannot grope and be aggressive towards you. Mm-hmm. There's no double standard there in my book. Mm-hmm. Male bartenders deserve just as much respect as female bartenders. I said what I said. Now to the worst part. The Karens have all had 5 or 6 something goods at this point. God, don't you hate that order? What do you want? Give me something good. Mm-hmm. Something fruity. I hate that because I'm like, I don't know. Lemonade with vodka in it, that's fruity to me. Like a cherry lemonade with vodka, sounds delicious. But anyway, problems with the tab start ruffling feathers and entitlement because they can't count past Merlot at this point and don't understand how 5 drinks can cost $50. It's actually pretty cheap.
Yep.
Complaining about service because 6 blood orange martinis took 8 minutes to make and ring up.
Oh, my martinis goodness. Take forever.
And 6 of them took 8 minutes. That's a professional. 1 would take me 8 minutes. I'd be like, I gotta shake. I don't want to be doing that in this. They do take a lot of time. Those are the worst 2 days of the year for me. I hate every waking second of it. So this is not a specific Karen story, but more like a sea of Karen stories. Gosh. And it's just like the ocean, like the tidal wave of Karens. That's, I think, what I would like to call this. The tidal wave of Karens. And I chose this story because we've both been bartenders. Mm-hmm. I am still a bartender. And we actually did like a wine crawl. When we worked at the Heist, I think it was you and Zach were working that night when they did the trolley through town and like took to, 4 or 5 different places. And the Heist was where everyone ended up at the end of the night. Row to row. Shoulder to shoulder. People are packed. It's packed inside. It's packed outside. The music is loud. It's a vibe. It can be so much fun. But when you get people like this in there, it completely ruins it. And it makes it so stressful. And it really takes away from that moment that you get to enjoy and be around people. The Heist was a whole vibe. I remember there were times when it's packed that it's so much fun. Mm-hmm. I can't remember any time like this. I can remember like a time, but there is a time when people are very picky. But there was a lady
that would come in that was like that.
Yeah. There's a group too that would come in. I do remember they were very particular and you had to do like the white glove service for them. But they tipped really well. Yeah. And they were good business. So it kind of balances out.
She just wanted you to dump out her beer because it was skunked, and she thought of that every time she came in and every time it wasn't good enough. And I was just like, okay,
why do you keep coming back?
Would be my because question. That was my fun job, and I was an administrator at the time, and she like treated me so hatefully until the person that was with her mentioned that I was an administrator, and then she was like, oh, her whole attitude changed. And I was like, this beep.
So that's my first story.
I
the
love
tidal wave of Karens to get us going.
Okay, so my first story is Karen and the case of the public parking panic.
Oh, gosh.
It was a bright Saturday afternoon, the kind of day where neighbors were washing cars, kids rode bikes up and down the sidewalk, and, life on a quiet street is supposed to be peaceful. Great day. Then here comes a local menace named Karen.
Not a menace.
Then you have Jenna, who had pulled her dusty blue Hyundai up to the curb on Maple Ridge Lane. Fake street. She wasn't blocking a driveway. There were no signs saying like no parking, anything like that. She was just on a public street. She double checked to be sure, stepped out. She had a small gift for a birthday party that was like a few doors down. Enter Karen.
I was going to say, I can hear it already. The spidey senses, on that Karen were tingling. She's like, ooh, I get to cause some trouble.
So Karen, sporting a blonde bob and a scowl sharp enough to slice bread, burst out of her house, and she was like, burst out of her house like she caught someone spray painting her mailbox. Phone already in hand and camera rolling.
Oh my God.
Excuse me, Karen shrieked. You can't park here. This is my house, my curb, and my neighborhood.
Oh.
And like Jenna was like, oh my gosh, I'm just parked on the street. It's public parking and I'm not blocking anything. And she's like, oh, we're a legal expert here. Flipping her camera to selfie mode as if she was broadcasting live to her personal fan club. I'm recording this for the HOA and the authorities. You're trespassing illegal parking. Jenna was like, it's literally just a street lady. Like, it's not that serious.
Like, anyway, come on, man.
Yeah. So Karen's eyes narrowed. You people, and I hate when people say you people. You people think you can waltz into someone's neighborhood and do whatever you want. That curb belongs to me. It's my taxes. Okay,
oh my
Karen.
Gosh. Okay, Karen. Like, if that lady lives in the town, those are her taxes too.
Yeah. So Jenna was like, I'm done entertaining this nonsense, and turned to walk away and was like,
it takes two people to argue. Just walk away.
But unfortunately, that's when it escalated.
Of course. Of course it did.
So Karen's, oh geez, I could see somebody doing this, but I don't even know. Karen sprinted over to the front of Jenna's car and stood directly next to the front tire. Don't you move this vehicle, she screamed. You already ran over my foot. Jenna turns around and is like, what? I wasn't even in my car. Karen suddenly drops to the ground beside the car like a Walmart version of a soccer player flopping during a game. She clutched her foot dramatically while she's filming and is like, ow, ow, she ran over my foot. I'm pressing charges.
Oh my gosh.
By now, a few neighbors had peeked out their doors and windows.
That would be me. I'd be like, what's going on?
One of the guy across the street said, here we go again, and started filming too.
No.
So this wasn't Karen's first over-the-top performance. Lady, Jenna said firmly, you ran toward my parked car and then threw yourself down. Karen, still filming, from the ground, howled to the heavens, this is an attack. I am traumatized. You could have killed me. She then called 911. Of course she did. Of course she called 911.
What a freaking waste. Oh my gosh.
She began yelling to the dispatcher about vehicular assault, trespassing, and how she feared for her life and limbs.
Not limbs. Not her limbs.
The responding officer arrived within minutes, and Karen hobbled to him like a wounded gazelle, still filming, still yelling.
Goodness.
She's aggressive. She tried to run me over. I need medical attention and a full police report. The officer patiently asked both women for their statements, reviewed Karen's video, which clearly showed Jenna was out of the car before Karen even got outside, and then slowly turned to Karen. Ma'am, he said, you were not hit by the vehicle, and parking on a public street is not illegal. Karen gasped. She tried to murder me with a Hyundai. No, ma'am. And please stop calling 911 over parking disputes. This is the third call this month. Karen let out a strangled screech. I want your badge number. I pay your salary. Can you just imagine? And the officer just said, it's on my chest, ma'am, not even blinking. Jenna, now holding the gift bag like it was her sanity, simply walked away as Karen continued filming herself, limping back towards her porch and shouting, I will be calling the mayor. The street remained peaceful and public. Karen's pride, however, was officially in the gutter.
Oh my gosh. That poor mayor. He's like, not this lady again. I think I'm more upset that she called 911.
Yeah.
And wasted those resources and took that away.
Act like she hit you with her car.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. People are, I'm telling you, people be wilding out in these streets, literally.
I've seen literally. I've seen videos of people who do that where they are like filming and then they're like, oh, you hit me. And it's like very clearly they did not.
Yeah.
Those people have got to have, I said those people and we've,
Yeah.
People that
but you didn't
do
talk
that.
to
No.
and say, you people.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I mean, if it's a Karen, I might be like, you people. But it's like, they have to be missing a couple wires. Like things are crossed because how can you really think that somebody's going to believe that?
Girl, who knows?
But yeah, those videos that I see are like the most crazy. Next on the docket, this is, none of these have titles, so you'll just have to, I'll do the same thing. At the end, we'll go over. Okay. As a university student, I had a summer job installing cable for a cable TV company. More accurately, I was the one who went around to bury the cable after the cable company had connected the cable to the house.
Okay.
It was during the housing boom in the United States, and houses were going up so fast that the cable TV company could not keep up with subscription demand. In most cases, they just ran cables from the street to the house above their grass. They didn't have enough workers to bury the cables, so they promised residents that they would send workers out to bury them as soon as they could. It sometimes took 6 months for workers to get there.
Girl.
You can imagine homeowners were not happy.
I wouldn't be. I'd be like, dang.
Like, how am I supposed to mow?
Yeah.
We worked in crews of 3. I was with 2 Hispanic men. We rang the doorbell of a home. There was no answer. We called the home. No answer. We didn't have a cell number, so we started to bury the cable just as we had done for other houses that day. We were halfway finished when a car pulled up and came to a sudden stop. A woman got out and started yelling at the foreman. He spoke English, but she berated him and insinuated that he was an illegal alien. She kept demanding that we leave, asking him, "Do you understand me? Do you understand me?" Lady, do you understand yourself? I walked over and said, "Ma'am, I understand you. What's going on?" She demanded to speak to my boss. I pointed her back to the man that she had been berating. She didn't expect that. Oh. I don't ever remember seeing racism up close like that until then. I had no idea what Latino workers dealt with on a daily basis. I was disgusted by her behavior. I had studied Spanish for years and really enjoyed Latino culture, the food, the humor, the work ethic, etc. So I was offended that she treated my new coworkers in such a condescending manner. And he never says, but I assume he's not Hispanic. It sounds like he's not, yeah. We explained who we were, showed her the work order from the cable company, and explained that we were there to bury the cable. We asked her if she wouldn't mind if we completed the job. She said, "Don't you move. I'm calling the police." Why? And she did. We called the cable company while she was on the phone. We took a water break. A police officer showed up. I approached carefully and explained what we were doing, showing the work order. The fact that they have to say that they approached carefully just breaks my heart. He looked at the work order and asked the woman if the address was correct. She ripped it out of my hand and looked at it. "Yes, that's my address." The officer asked if it would be okay if we completed burying the cable. We explained that if it was a bad time, we would come back. Just then, another vehicle came flying up the road.
Her husband.
Has to be. The driver slamming on the brakes as he reached the house. A man, her husband, jumped out and immediately started yelling. The officer de-escalated the situation, explaining that we were contractors from the cable company. The man kept giving us menacing looks, but eventually jumped back into his vehicle and sped off. The homeowner eventually agreed to allow us to finish the job, but warned us that she would be watching us from inside her air-conditioned house. And she did. We saw her looking out the window.
I would have been like...
Right. The police officer left. My coworkers went back to work. They were polite and professional. There is only one issue. We had to go through the flower bed. This was before smartphones, or we would have taken pictures before starting. We carefully dug up just enough space to bury the cable, replacing all the wood chips. We were actually proud of our work, and we'd done this either way. Oh, we'd have done this either way. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing they mean regardless if she was a Karen or not, they would have taken good care of her flower bed. The rep from the cable company showed up. The homeowner came out and showed the rep where we had done irreparable damage to her lawn and destroyed her flower bed. The rep took a look and commented that we'd actually pulled some weeds in the process of going through the flowers. She just kept getting angrier and demanded a discount on her cable service. Of course she did. The cable company rep was ready for this. He pointed to the contract with the cable company that said they would send out a contractor to bury the cable. He was polite but firm. There was no promise of when the cable company would send a contractor to bury the cable. He explained that with the housing boom and record subscriptions that they had not had time to bury the cables.
Mm-hmm.
Most of her neighbors had their cables above ground too. We finished and the cable company rep asked if there's anything else he could do while she was there. She said, just get them off my property. He waited for us to collect our tools and apologized for the behavior of the homeowner. Normally, people were happy to see us. They were tired
they were like, oh, thank God you're here.
Right. They were tired of mowing their lawns while dodging the big cable running from the street to the house. Exactly. The rest of the day, we were offered drinks and treats when visited other homes. The rest of the day, we were offered drinks and treats when we visited other homes. This made the Karen look even worse. I haven't thought about her in years, but it made me glad I finished my education. I don't have to deal with people like that in my job now, and it reaffirmed my belief that everyone should be treated with respect no matter how they dress for work. But the people who work with their hands in the hot sun so that I can sit in my air-conditioned home watching TV deserve a little extra respect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always happy to give them that respect. I hope I never forget that. If I do, slap me. Hard.
Yeah.
Amen.
I like that one.
Yeah.
What a boob.
What a boob, indeed. Like, this lady, it's such a classic, like, I deserve a discount. I'm calling the police.
Yeah.
Like, just the entitlement.
I'm trying to get some money saved. Girl, you have a new house in a new neighborhood. You don't need a discount on your cable.
I would have left. I don't think that I would have tolerated such disrespect.
Leave this here.
Yeah, you can deal with this yourself. We'll come back. Never. You can bury this on your own. So that's, what should we call her?
Let's see.
Condescending Cable Karen. There you go. Perfect.
Condescending Cable Karen.
All right. What do you got? What's your second?
Karen versus the Target Starbucks sandwich scandal.
Oh.
It was a typical Tuesday afternoon at Target. The carts were squeaking, the clearance end caps were calling, and the smell of popcorn and overpriced candles filled the air.
Popcorn? At Target?
Yeah, girl, you never been to the where they have the little food court thing?
No.
Oh.
In Target?
Yeah, back in the day. Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Yeah. They had like cups so you could get like a fountain drink. Yeah. Anyway.
They do have that. Sorry. I've seen the fountain drinks. I've never smelled popcorn walking into Target. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway,
That's
sorry.
crazy. That's how you feel. We miss you.
Yeah, we miss you guys.
Come back on and record.
But bone up on your pop culture, Caleb. Just kidding. My ADHD is off the chain right now.
No, you're good. In the front corner near the entrance, there's a little Starbucks kiosk. So there's just, like when you go in, there's the tiny little Starbucks.
Yep.
Not a real Starbucks store, but
familiar with that one. I know that. I know about my Starbucks.
Karen, wearing her oversized sunglasses, which I feel like all of these Karens typically have either like a haircut or sunglasses or whatever.
It is interesting that they all do dress and look alike.
Walked up into the Starbucks counter like she owned not just the store, but the entire retail chain. She ordered confidently, I'll have the double smoked bacon cheddar egg sandwich.
Ooh,
that's all good. Simple. I've never had that, but the barista was a 20-something girl named Elena, and she nodded and got to work. A few minutes later, Elena called out that double smoked sandwich for Karen and handed her a warm bag. I know that warm bag. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Karen grabbed it and opened it right in front of the counter. Within seconds, her face twisted to disgust.
Oh, fix your face, Karen.
Nope, this is not the right sandwich. I said double smoked bacon, not sausage. How hard is this? And Elena, still calm, offered, I'm so sorry about that. I'll make you the correct sandwich. I just need to check to make sure the prices are the same. Because she, put in the other one. And Karen whipped her head around to her kids and stage whispered, which I like stage whispered.
I'm not good at stage whispering, but I know what it is.
Can you believe this? She's arguing with me over a sandwich. This is what customer service has come to.
Was she arguing with you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where the argument was. Yeah. Like, are you arguing with yourself? Anyway.
Yeah. She yanked out her phone and jabbed at her Starbucks app. Look right here. I paid for the double smoked bacon. Are you going to make it or not? Elena leaned over and glanced at the app. Yep, that matches. I just need to confirm it wasn't a price difference or an upcharge, and I'll get started right on it. 5 minutes passed. The barista called out, Karen, your new sandwich is ready. Karen didn't say thank you. She walked up and snatched that sandwich out of the barista's hand and launched straight into a tirade. You know what? I'm appalled at how I've been treated. This is ridiculous. I've never been so disrespected in my life. Really?
Over a sandwich, Karen, honey.
I come here every week. I spend money here. Elena, visibly trying to remain professional, blinked slowly and replied, okay, I just need the first sandwich back now, ma'am. Karen clutched the bag to her chest like it was stolen. Excuse me, I have to give it back?
Yeah?
Yeah, Elena said gently. We just take it back because it wasn't correct and we mark it as we made it incorrectly. Karen huffed so hard a piece of her hair flew across her face. She shoved the bag back over the counter and snarled, "Unreal." And then it escalated.
It hasn't escalated yet?
Right? I want the manager, she snapped.
Oh, gosh.
Not of Starbucks, of Target.
Well, they don't have anything to do with each other, so...
A minute later, the store manager, whose name was Jeremy, arrived. Poor Jeremy, barely into his shift and already in deep regret. Karen wasted no time. You need to know how I was treated. I spend hundreds of dollars at Starbucks. Hundreds. And this is the service I get. Girl, you know how many of us are spending hundreds of dollars at some coffee place?
I'm so confused.
I'm so embarrassed that yeah. Jeremy, used to this type of storm, replied patiently, "Ma'am, Starbucks is a separate company inside our store, but do you have the correct sandwich now?" Karen squinted at him like he had just told her gravity wasn't real. Are you serious? That's your response? Do I have the sandwich? You're clearly not taking this seriously. From behind her, another customer chimed in. "Ma'am, it's a sandwich. Maybe let it go?"
That would be you.
Yeah.
That would be you. You'd be like, this is insane.
I'd be like, listen, we're all just trying to get our coffee.
Right. Can you just move it along, baby?
Karen gasped like she had just been slapped by a ghost.
Oh, my Lord.
I want the number for corporate now.
Google it, baby. Google it.
Jeremy calmly handed her a card with Target guest services number. She snatched it and stormed off with her cart, muttering under her breath about Yelp, TikTok, lawsuits, and how customer service used to mean something. Her kids followed behind in silence, one mouthing sorry to the barista.
Oh, those poor kids.
Yeah. And yeah, that was it. But so I'm thinking that, I mean, I don't know the situation, but I'm thinking the barista was thinking that she overcharged Karen for the sandwich.
And see, I thought the opposite. And in my head, when you said that, I was like, I don't know if I would have done the same thing. Not that what she did was wrong, but I would have just remade the sandwich and gave it to her for the same price. And if we gave her a sandwich and charged her for something less than what she got, eat the cost. Like you made the mistake. Just take it on the chin.
She said something about an upcharge, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder."
The bacon is what I was thinking. Because
I was thinking, like, did they like? Is the sausage more expensive? They, they're paying more. Or she paid more than what she got.
And see, that makes sense. Like,
yeah. Because I wouldn't, if I made something wrong, I wouldn't be like, "Oh, you actually owe us 36 more cents."
Yeah, you know I wouldn't either. And I don't think that anybody in customer service really would, unless they were also a Karen.
Yeah. So like, I'm thinking like, "Oh, we charged you for the wrong thing or whatever."
But it's weird that it was on her phone correctly. Like it was right. Yeah, it sounds like it was rang up correctly. They just made it wrong. And that happens. Like customer service, people that work at coffee shops, restaurants, fast food, they're people. They are humans with brains that are overworked and overstimulated. They are doing their best. Like it doesn't help.
Girl, if somebody gave me the wrong sandwich, number one, I probably wouldn't even care. I would be like, as long as I would eat it, I would probably be like, well, this is fine.
Yeah.
If it was something I couldn't eat, I'd be like, I always am like, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
I always start that way. "I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
This has mustard on it, and I don't eat mustard. I will never forget. It's been within the last year. I went to a Sonic, and I got a limeade. And I took a drink, and I swear on everything that it was so limey that I was like, oh, like I could, and so I like swished it around, and I took another drink. I was like, nope, never had a limeade taste like that. And I like went through the drive-thru, and I was like, "I am so sorry. I don't know what happened." Yeah, but this limeade, it tastes like straight lime. Like it is so bad.
Like you forgot the rest of the stuff.
I'm like, I can't. Is there any way you guys can like like
remake this or like throw in some strawberries.
I was like, or if you could maybe just like dump some out and put some Sprite in it, something. And she was like, yeah, it was fine. But it's how you treat people. Like, and I felt horrible because I was like, whoever made this is probably like, what? But something was wrong.
It's funny that you say that about Sonic because literally like maybe a month ago I had something very similar happen at Sonic. I ordered like a Diet Dr. Pepper and I took a drink of it because I was thirsty. I usually don't until I'm like leaving, but I was like, I gotta have a drink. Thank God it was out. Like you know when a soda is out and it just tastes like carbonation and carbonated water.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I really want a soda right now. So I like rang the bell and I was like, hey, I just ordered off the app and got my Diet Dr. Pepper. I think that your soda machine's out. Can I get another one? And what I said was, you don't even have to change it like right this second just for me because I know you're busy. You can just make me a regular Dr. Pepper. Like they taste or the price is the same. Just bring me a regular Dr. Pepper. And she was like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, girl. It's not that deep. The Lord wanted me to have a regular Dr. Pepper today. So, yeah. But I hate doing it and I won't unless like that, like you said, like that was just like
there was no saving this drink and I was so thirsty and I was like, I mean, I like don't mind a little bit of sour, a little bit of tart, but this tasted like they accidentally put instead of Sprite lime juice. And I was like, oh, yes. Yeah, I felt so bad, but they were really nice about it. And, you know, I think it's just like the way that you handle yourself. Not always.
Yeah.
You know, some people can come at you sideways and you're like,
listen, I just don't want to drink carbonated water. Like I would have ordered club soda if that's what I wanted. Yeah. And I had something happen at Sonic like last week actually, but it was my mistake. And I was like, screw it. I'll take this one on the chin. I ordered a watermelon Sprite and I think I got a Route 44 because I was like, I love Sprite. I love this watermelon vibe like for the summer. And instead of getting regular, I put on there to give it extra because I was like, ooh, like it's going to be good because it's a bigger drink. I thought throw a little extra. I should not have done that. It tasted like syrup. And I was like, I did it to myself.
Yeah, girl.
And you know what? I left with my drink and I suffered through that thing about halfway. And I'm like, I
can't hit the button and been like, can I have another Sprite? I would have just been like dumping it in.
Yeah. So I got home and I was like, well, now I know, never do that again.
Yeah.
And I haven't. You live, you learn. But you gotta be nice to people. Yeah. Like people are out here doing their best, man. Positive intent. That is always something that has changed my life. Laura's husband told me, I'm clapping, like I am passionate about this. Like positive intent, people. Laura's husband, my former boss or my former manager, when we would have issues at work, he said that one time. He was like, you have to reframe and assume that the decisions that people are making, that their intentions are good, that they are doing it because they want something good to happen, even if it's the wrong thing. If you know their intention, like these people that
always
made the wrong
assume
sandwich,
that it's a good intention. Yeah. That's my thing. Always assume that people are coming. If they show you differently, then you can adjust. Yeah, but I always assume people are not trying.
Right. Like this Starbucks barista did not say, I'm going to mess this lady's sandwich up today.
Yeah.
She did not say that. She was like, we're busy. This is a sandwich, blah, blah, blah. You know what? That girl probably didn't even make the sandwich. She probably just put in the order and someone else made the sandwich, you know? And it's just like, if that's something that really triggers you, I highly recommend therapy.
Yeah. Well, and I would say when we worked at the Heist, it was a struggle because as a server or bartender, because you kind of do both there, you know, you would take an order, you would do it right. But if something happened in the kitchen and it was wrong and you bring it out,
you're not
realizing you're the one who gets that and your tip is affected by that.
It really is.
And it's like, I had nothing to do with this food.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always try to like, it's almost like I'm an advocate for the customer because I'm like, oh, like we're going to make sure this is right, blah, 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 and try to really, you know, season that up a little bit. But it's like the kitchen doesn't do it wrong on purpose.
Yeah, no.
They don't even happen all the time. We're all human.
Yeah, I think that we had very similar Karen stories, kind of in a way, like very just,
Tidal wave of Karens and then cable Karen,
and then parking lot or, you know,
parking Karen
Karen and Target sandwich Karen.
Yeah.
They're just Karens.
they're in the wild, man, and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And I might make one of the stories, not for next week, but maybe the week after. I saw a TikTok and I got invested in this story, and it's about a fence and neighbors. And I was like, oh, this is juicy. And then I'm like, I'm going to all these different pages.
Isn't it an older lady?
Yeah.
Okay, so
and it's a wooden fence. Did I send it to you? Maybe?
No, I saw it.
Yeah, girl.
Okay, yeah, because I've been like going to different places and trying to find Karen stories. So that.
Yeah.
I won't use that one.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us.
Always.
We had a great time.
Yeah.
We love doing this, and it brings us so much joy, and we really have gotten a lot more traffic.
We have over 200 followers on Spotify now, you guys.
Yeah.
We have 201.
Yeah, super excited. Thank you guys. If you haven't liked, subscribed, followed, whatever, rated us, gave us a 5
rate and review.
Yeah, like please do that. And if you see us on TikTok, follow us, comment, and then go check us out on Spotify. And then we are also on YouTube. So our previews that are on TikTok and are on Facebook Reels is going to be on YouTube. And then the whole kit and caboodle episodes are on
on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube.
Yeah. So I am so excited to see how this bracket's going to work out.
I know. I feel like we need to get into the results here soon. Like do a little prelim, like this is who won week 1 and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't have anything else, do you?
I don't.
Okay, I'm Hannah.
I'm Bianca.
And we are Taking Back Sunday.
Anxiety. Jinx. Anxiety.
So if the world goes to crap, sorry, let me do it this way so I'm not facing away.
Luca, you would be rich too, you little anxious titty baby. I guess a funny one I could say, we'll cut it out, titties. I'd be rich.
Oh, you're just gonna take
natural though, not the fake ones. You can't be buying it because you don't got them.
Natural titties.
Yeah. These porcelain dolls in this house. Lord have mercy. Why was that sentence so hard to say? I'm not going to keep this part in, but this is what they said.
Oh, please do.
No, the next part that I haven't said yet.
Please do.
They would like to have their monthly meetings. I call them dildo parties. So I had to scour back into Reddit and found some good ones. Some of them aren't very long. And that's the hardest part about getting on Reddit is that some of these are just not long enough. They don't give it the narrative and like make it the story. They just give you like, this is what happened. And I'm like, great. Thanks so much for that nothing sandwich that you just fed me.